After an 8-month soul battle with the 3,000 burning flame, Xiao Yan finally managed to devour and fuse with it. The newly merged heavenly flame securely ranked in the top 6 of the heavenly flames list. Continuing from the last chapter, the 3,000 burning flame thrashed violently. While the black line runes that served as seals became sparser, it suddenly raised its massive dragon head. Its thunderous laughter echoed endlessly in the void. Ha ha, Xin Kong Zi, this time, you will fail. As the laughter faded, the enormous body of the 3,000 burning flame spun wildly in the void, followed by a cracking sound that quietly resonated within the space. Upon hearing this cracking sound, everyone couldn't help but shudder slightly. The seal has failed. With the faint cracking sound, all movements in the void space came to a halt in that instant. Even the battling Elder Mu Gu and Elder Qiao Ling stepped back a dozen paces and quickly turned their gaze towards the direction of the 3,000 burning flame. Where everyone's eyes were focused, a gigantic flame dragon coiled in the void. At this moment, the black runes densely covering its scales had completely vanished. Although the light in its dragon eyes had dimmed slightly due to the breaking of the seal, the fierce aura of destruction it exuded made everyone present wary. Qiao Ling's face turned ashen as he looked at the unsealed 3,000 burning flame and cursed under his breath, knowing the situation had become more complicated. Qiao Ling murmured, "Who can resist the unsealed 3,000 burning flame except the 3 major powers in the Pill Tower?" Compared to Qiao Ling's grim expression, Elder Mu Gu was extremely excited. He took a step forward and said to 3,000 burning flame with a smile, "Congratulations on breaking free. But can you fulfill our previous agreement? Rest assured, as long as you stay in our soul hall for 1 year, I guarantee you will regain your freedom." This old guy had actually made a deal with the 3,000 burning flame. Hearing Elder Mu Gu's words, Xiao Yan and his companions couldn't help but tense up. The massive dragon eyes of the 3,000 burning flame turned to Elder Mu Gu. A hint of cunning almost human-like flashed in its eyes. Its deep voice came from its enormous mouth. "There is no problem with what we agreed upon before, but I want to roam this world first before heading to your so-called soul hall." Upon hearing this, Elder Mu Gu's mouth twitched. The smile on his face gradually disappeared, and he slowly said, "So, you're planning to go back on your word?" A cold gleam flashed in the dragon eyes of the 3,000 burning flame as it said, "You humans are all alike. Expecting me to trust you is nothing but a fool's dream." Elder Mu Gu's face instantly darkened. Though he anticipated that things wouldn't go smoothly, he didn't expect the 3,000 burning flame to go back on his words so quickly. Xiao Yan, observing the conversation between Elder Mu Gu and the 3,000 burning flame, secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems these two have intentions to cooperate, but clearly each harbors different motives. Elder Mu Gu's voice suddenly turned icy. "Since you don't appreciate my kindness, don't blame me for being ruthless. The Pill Tower might not be able to deal with you, but my soul hall has ways to make you wish for death over life." As his dry hand slowly extended from his sleeve, a black shadow suddenly tore through the space, carrying a scorching wind as it struck towards his head. This unexpected attack startled Elder Mu Gu, and his figure instantly flashed several meters away, his gaze darkly fixed on the 3,000 burning flame, which was swinging its enormous dragon tail. He clenched his hand tightly, a dazzling silver jade token appearing and quickly shattering in his grip. With the shattering of the token, a powerful spatial force erupted, immediately tearing a rift in the space around Elder Mu Gu. As the rift formed, 3 figures shrouded completely in black robes slowly emerged from it. The appearance of the 3 shadows made Xiao Yan's face change drastically, and he exclaimed, "Soul Hall Guardians." He hadn't expected Elder Mu Gu to have such a trump card. What weighed even more heavily on Xiao Yan was that the strength of these 3 mysterious black-clad figures was on par with Elder Mu Gu. For Do Zun-level powerhouses, such a lineup was something even the top forces in Central Plains would struggle to assemble. One of the shadows stepped out of the spatial rift and spoke in a slightly hoarse voice. "Mu Gu, your efficiency this time is too low. We waited a long time before receiving your spatial signal." Elder Mu Gu frowned deeply and coldly responded, Do you think the pill tower is so easy to deal with? Another black-clad figure added flatly, less talk. We don't have much time. Once the commotion outside subsides, the 3 giants of the pill tower will surely arrive. The 4 of us alone cannot match them. Elder Mugu said, let's begin. Follow the plan. As long as we can obtain the essence flame of the 3,000 burning flame, the mission will be a success. With Elder Mugu's cold shout, his figure was the first to dart out, and the other 3 quickly spread out to different positions, surrounding the massive 3,000 burning flame. The 4 of them shouted coldly in unison, 10,000 soul devouring formation. Immediately, strange black fog surged violently from their bodies, quickly permeating the surroundings. As the eerie black fog spread, the infiltrating starlight from the surrounding area was completely cut off. Sensing this change, the 3,000 burning flame roared in fury. Having just broken the seal, it was absolutely unwilling to sink back into endless dark slumber. It opened its massive mouth and spewed out purple-black flames. Facing the fierce counterattack of the 3,000 burning flame, the expressions of Mugu and the others grew somber. Their hand seals changed like lightning, causing the black fog to ripple incessantly. Following this, hundreds of thick black chains shot out from the fog, spreading across the sky like giant pythons, ultimately forming a massive net that trapped the 3,000 burning flame within. A ruthless gleam flashed in Elder Mugu's eyes as he shouted, "You wretched beast, if you seek death, I will grant it." 10,000 soul skylock. With his cold shout, countless jet-black chains shot out, crossing and interweaving before viciously latching onto the massive body of the 3,000 burning flame. The chains trembled and tightly entangled it. Enraged by the chain's confinement, the 3,000 burning flame let out a furious roar, its enormous body struggling madly as streams of purple-black flames continuously surged from within, scorching the black chains. Feeling the sudden increase in pressure, Elder Mugu's expression slightly changed. He had indeed underestimated the strength of the 3,000 burning flame. He snorted coldly and shouted harshly, "Soul devour!" At his command, the other 3 black-clad figures nodded slightly, changing their hand seals. Dense black fog erupted from their sleeves, transforming into countless sinister-faced spirits that surged towards the massive body of the 3,000 burning flame. As soon as these spirits, enveloped in black fog, touched the body of the 3,000 burning flame, they were incinerated into nothingness by the purple-black flames. Despite this, their numbers were extraordinarily large. Tens of thousands of souls, controlled by the black fog, hurled themselves at the 3,000 burning flame like moths to a flame in a suicidal assault. Watching the countless souls, wailing in agony, being burned into nothingness, Xiao Yan and his companions' faces darkened. These soul haul guys were truly wicked, employing such a cruel method of using souls as weapons. Qiao Ling's face turned ashen as he cursed through gritted teeth. These bastards. Under the relentless onslaught of the self-sacrificing souls, the immense body of the 3,000 burning flame, already drained from the previous battle, began to show signs of its purple-black flames weakening. Sensing the diminishing power of its flames, the dragon eyes of the 3,000 burning flame turned a fierce red. Its deafening roar pierced the void as its massive form spun rapidly like a top. In an instant, 100-meter-wide firestorm formed in the black fog-covered space, evaporating the black fog into nothingness. The sudden counterattack of the 3,000 burning flame caused Mugu and the others' faces to change drastically. The scorching force transmitted through the chains fiercely struck their palms, forcing them to retreat several steps, barely stabilizing themselves. Even with the combined efforts of the 4, they could not seal the 3,000 burning flame. A hint of seriousness flashed across Elder Mugu's face as he muttered, "We have indeed underestimated this beast." Taking a deep breath, a ruthless glint appeared in his eyes as he shouted, "The soul lock." In front of Elder Mugu, the space suddenly distorted, and a figure slowly appeared. Seeing Qiao Ling blocking his way, Elder Mugu shouted angrily, "Move aside." Knowing he wasn't a match, he turned to the black-clad Dozun beside him and said, Let's deal with this stubborn old man together. The black-clad Dou Zun nodded silently. Ling, facing their combined assault, did not back down but instead fought back with even greater ferocity. In the distance, another black-clad Dou Zun, who was fiercely battling Elder Qinghua, noticed the commotion and wanted to withdraw, but Elder Qinghua entangled him tightly. Elder Qinghua glanced at Xiao Yan, who was rushing towards the 3,000 burning flame, and sighed inwardly, such bad luck, encountering Yao Chen in the past and now his disciple in this fight for the heavenly flame. It seems I'm fated not to obtain it. This time, I'll lend the boy a hand for the old friend's sake. With this thought, he channeled his Dou Qi, binding the black-clad Dou Zun even tighter. High in the sky, the Soul Hall Guardians continuously released thick black fog from his sleeves, causing explosions above the 3,000 burning flame. Seeing its purple-black flames gradually wane, he felt a slight relief. Just as he was about to unleash another soul explosion technique, a terrifying gust suddenly rose behind him, tearing his clothes and sending several black fog-formed chains shooting out. Although the chains blocked the attack, the aftermath forced the Soul Hall Guardians to retreat 2 steps, barely stabilizing himself. Raising his head, he saw a golden figure standing where he had retreated and noticed Xiao Yan standing behind the heavenly demon puppet. Xiao Yan commanded, "Attack!" The heavenly demon puppet stomped in the void, and with a dull thud, its figure instantly appeared before the Soul Hall Guardians like lightning. Its golden iron fist, carrying a fierce gust, mercilessly smashed towards the Dou Zun's head. Seeing the space shatter wherever the heavenly demon puppet's fist passed, the Soul Hall Guardians' face changed slightly. He dared not be careless and hurriedly met the attack with all his strength. After witnessing the Soul Hall Guardians and the heavenly demon puppet entangled in battle, Xiao Yan smiled slightly, then turned his gaze towards the 3,000 burning flame not far away. At this moment, its flames had noticeably dimmed. However, Xiao Yan noticed that the surrounding void constantly seeped out starlight, which the 3,000 burning flame absorbed, gradually restoring its former brilliance. Xiao Yan sighed inwardly but then thought, "The undying flame lives up to its name. I can't let it continue absorbing starlight." With this thought, Xiao Yan stepped into the air, his figure instantly appearing before the 3,000 burning flame. Emerald green flames surged from within him, enveloping his entire body. The 3,000 burning flames stared coldly at Xiao Yan, and when the emerald flames rose, a flash of greed appeared in its eyes. Despite being sealed for years and knowing little about the origin of these emerald flames, its instinct told it that devouring this fire would greatly enhance its strength, enough to no longer fear the Pill Tower's 3 giants. Noticing the greed in the 3,000 burning flame eyes, Xiao Yan shook his head. He recalled the fallen heart flame's similar reaction upon first meeting him, though not as pronounced. "To devour my heavenly flame, you'll need the strength to match," Xiao Yan said with a smile. Silver light flashed under his feet as he ghosted to the top of the 3,000 burning flame. With emerald flames encasing his fist, he struck down fiercely. Despite its weakened state, the 3,000 burning flame did not retreat, but instead met Xiao Yan's punch head-on with a powerful sweep of its dragon tail. The immense force caused both to retreat several steps. The 3,000 burning flame roared furiously, a terrifying pillar of purple-black flames shooting towards Xiao Yan. As the flame pillar rapidly expanded, nearing his body, Xiao Yan's mind moved, and the crystal lotus heart flame within him erupted, forming a burning wall in front of him. The purple-black flame pillar crashed against the emerald flame wall, but no matter how fiercely the 3,000 burning flame burned, the wall remained intact. Their confrontation lasted several minutes, with the purple-black flame pillar gradually weakening as its energy waned. Xiao Yan's sharp gaze fixed on the somewhat weakened 3,000 burning flame. He quickly produced several jade bottles, throwing them into the still dissipating purple-black flames. The bottles exploded upon contact, releasing a large amount of white mist. Although the intense heat quickly dispersed the mist, Xiao Yan's actions had evidently worsened the situation for the 3,000 burning flame, whose flames finally reverted entirely to their original purple-black hue. Now, Xiao Yan's feet flashed with lightning as his figure mysteriously disappeared. In the next instant, he reappeared above the 3,000 burning flames' head. Upon reappearing, he tightly gripped a small jade bottle, throwing it like lightning, and it struck the creature's forehead with a resounding impact. With a resounding crack, the jade bottle shattered, revealing a drop of dark golden blood that slowly floated out. As the dark golden blood made contact with the forehead of the 3,000 burning flame, its body immediately went rigid, and its gaze turned vacant. Simultaneously, a mysterious rune appeared on its forehead, identical to the dragon imprint on Xiao Yan's palm. It really is the dragon imprint. Xiao Yan's eyes flashed with joy as he felt the dragon imprint on his palm gradually heating up. At the same time, a profound connection suddenly surged within him. Xiao Yan was momentarily stunned, but then locked his gaze tightly on the 3,000 burning flame. In that instant, he seemed to vaguely perceive the creature's emotions. Just as Xiao Yan was shocked by this sudden change, the 3,000 burning flame, which had been momentarily dazed by the rune, awoke once more. It seemed to realize something, and its dragon eyes flashed with a fierce, cold light, locking onto Xiao Yan. The rune on its forehead grew even brighter. Facing the 3,000 burning flames' hostile gaze, Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel a tightening in his heart. He understood that the most dangerous moment was approaching. As Xian had said, the dragon imprint was mutual. If he couldn't control the 3,000 burning flame, he would be controlled by it. Come on, let's see how fierce you can get. Xiao Yan tilted his head back and let out a thunderous dragon roar, the rune on his forehead suddenly shining with golden light. As the rune on his forehead grew more radiant, the mystical connection within him also intensified. Moments later, his vision suddenly blurred. When he could see clearly again, he found himself in a completely unfamiliar space. This was the soul world of the 3,000 burning flame. Xiao Yan glanced at his somewhat translucent palm, then with a thought, powerful soul energy beneath him condensed into a lotus seat. He sat cross-legged, his dark eyes staring intently at the 3,000 burning flame within the sea of fire. With a cold smile, he said, "Is this a contest of souls? Let's see what tricks you have, beast." At this moment, Xin Kongzi descended into the starry domain, landing a punch that forced the retreat of 4 Soul Hall Guardians. However, facing the fierce outbreak of the 3,000 burning flame, he had to lead everyone in retreat. When he prepared to forcibly take away the motionless Xiao Yan, the heavenly demon puppet unexpectedly blocked his path. Amid the ferocious assault of the 3,000 burning flame, Xiao Yan remained exceptionally calm. This confrontation was not only a test of souls, but also a battle of wills. A ring of emerald flames spread from within Xiao Yan, enveloping his entire body, standing firm no matter how the purple-black flames attacked. This decisive battle that would determine both their fates had only just begun. In the void, Chao Ying and the others anxiously and curiously observed the distant scene. Xiao Yan suddenly halted all his actions, closing his eyes. Even more astonishing was the sight of the purple-black fire dragon before him becoming eerily still. "What's going on?" Chao Ying frowned, asking softly. They seemed to have changed their method of combat. Chao Ying could sense Xiao Yan mobilizing a massive amount of soul power, and the 3,000 burning flame appeared to be doing the same. Dan Shen gently explained, "I suspect they might be engaging in a soul-level confrontation." Chao Ying's expression shifted slightly upon hearing this. A soul confrontation? Then there's nothing we can do now. Any interference could result in a severe backlash. Chao Ying's brow furrowed tightly, feeling helpless yet inwardly sighing. As they noticed Xiao Yan in the 3,000 burning flame, abnormal state, Elder Mu Gu also detected it. A resolute gleam flashed in Elder Mu Gu's eyes. He gritted his teeth and commanded, "You block Ling. I'll handle the 3,000 burning flame." Hearing this, the black-clothed Do Zun, who was fiercely battling Ling, hesitated for a moment, but then nodded firmly. Seeing Elder Mu Gu attempting to disengage from the fight, Ling's face darkened. He was about to pursue when the previously exhausted black-clothed Do Zun suddenly launched a violent counterattack, forcing Qiuling to focus all his attention on dealing with it. Qiuling shouted, "Qiaoying, stop him!" Qiaoying and the others hastily responded to the command. But two powerful Soul Hall experts who had blended into the top 10 with Elder Mu Gu quickly appeared, intercepting their path. At this critical moment, everyone was restrained, helplessly watching as Elder Mu Gu charged towards Xiao Yan and the 3,000 burning flame. Just as Elder Mu Gu was about to strike, a formidable aura burst through the void, striking his chest forcefully. The sudden blow caused Elder Mu Gu's face to turn pale instantly. The space rippled slightly, and a figure emerged. Xin Kongzi said, "The Soul Hall's tactics are quite something, sending so many experts this time." Seeing Xin Kongzi appear, Elder Mu Gu's pupils contracted sharply. He quickly made a decision and shouted to the four Dozuns, "The outside distraction has failed. We're retreating." With Xin Kongzi's arrival, their hope was completely shattered. As soon as he shouted, Elder Mu Gu took out a jade slip from his storage ring and crushed it decisively. Immediately, powerful spatial forces erupted, and a pitch-black spatial rift appeared in everyone's view. Seeing the four Soul Hall guardians hastily fleeing, Xin Kongzi's face showed a cold smile. "Since you've come, please stay here forever," he said, clenching his fist and punching through the void. The invisible, terrifying fist imprint pierced through space, striking the chests of the four. The sound of bones cracking echoed instantly, and under that horrifying power, they were directly thrown into the spatial rift. With just one punch, he made the four Dozuns retreat completely. Such power truly befits one of the three Pill Tower giants. Suddenly, Xin Kongzi's expression changed dramatically. The massive body of the 3,000 burning flame within the void was rapidly expanding, with 100-foot-tall purple-black flames violently surging beneath its dragon scales, sweeping through the void in an instant. The 3,000 burning flame is going to explode. Xin Kongzi's eyes flickered as he turned towards Xiao Yan. He saw Xiao Yan and the essence flame of the 3,000 burning flame both engulfed in a deathly stillness. After a moment, as if realizing something, Xin Kongzi's expression grew solemn. Engaging in a soul battle? This guy is truly daring. As Xin Kongzi pondered, the dragon's body suddenly exploded violently, with booming sounds accompanying the explosion. Sensing the terror of the sea of flames, Xin Kongzi frowned deeply, hesitantly staring at Xiao Yan below. Leaving now would undoubtedly put Xiao Yan in extreme danger. Even Elder Qing Hua felt unbearable under the intense heat and quickly dashed towards the exit of the star region. As he passed Xin Kongzi, he couldn't help but urge, "Aren't you leaving? Stay here and wait for death? That kid seems unusual. He should be fine." As his words fell, Xiao Yan's body suddenly emitted a bright green light, slowly expanding like a protective shield, just enough to envelop his entire body. "Is that a heavenly flame?" Xin Kongzi muttered, feeling slightly relieved. Watching the endless purple-black flames sweep towards him, he finally decided not to hesitate any longer. From Xiao Yan's appearance, it's clear he has his own plan, Xin Kongzi sighed softly. No longer lingering, his figure swiftly headed towards the star region's exit. As he moved quickly, his eyes suddenly caught sight of the two Soul Hall experts who had infiltrated the top 10. These two didn't possess the precious spatial jade slips like Elder Mu Gu and the others, so they could only sneakily search for a way out. Angered by the Soul Hall's disruption, Xin Kongzi, seeing these two sneaky figures, snorted coldly. With a wave of his sleeve, he unleashed a powerful force that enveloped them, then tossed them into the purple-black sea of flames behind him. "Savage!" Elder Qing Hua immediately gave a thumbs up in admiration. Xin Kongzi looked towards the center of the sea of flames, where the green light flickered like a lone leaf in the ocean. Xin Kongzi murmured, "Kid, from here on, it's up to your own luck." As the last person left the star region, the void sank into a profound silence. The purple-black flames, like a vast ocean, filled the entire star region, their terrifying heat causing even the fabric of space to warp and distort. Dan City now lay in ruins, clearly the site of a fierce battle not long ago. Above the Pill Tower, the silver spatial gate fluctuated violently, and one by one, disheveled figures emerged from it, with occasional bursts of purple-black flames spraying out, leaving onlookers in shock. Close the star region quickly. Huang Zong's figure flashed in and out of the spatial gate, his eyes sweeping the interior to see the purple-black sea of flames rapidly spreading. Hearing his warning, Xian Yi and Tian Lazy were startled. Seeing the urgency in Huang Zong's expression, they asked no questions, swiftly performing hand seals to trigger spatial fluctuations. Simultaneously, the silver gate dissipated into nothingness. As the silver spatial gate vanished, a surge of purple-black flames erupted violently, forcing the nearby Pill Tower experts to retreat rapidly. What's going on? Xian Yi and Tian Lazy's expressions turned grim as they urgently sought an explanation. Huang Zong explained calmly, "The 3,000 burning flame body has lost control and exploded, releasing the accumulated flames of many years. Now the entire star region is engulfed in a sea of fire. We need to reinforce the seal, or if the star region breaks, Dan City will be reduced to ashes." Hearing this, Xian Yi and Tian Lazy's faces tensed up. The 3,000 burning flame had absorbed the power of countless stars to form its massive body, and now that it had fully erupted, even they had to avoid its ferocity. By the way, where is Xiao Yan? Xian Yi looked around suddenly and asked. Huang Zong hesitated before responding, "He's still inside the star region." "What? Why didn't you bring him out?" Xian Yi's face changed dramatically, questioning with anger. Huang Zong sighed and explained, "Xiao Yan is currently engaged in a soul battle with the essence flame of the 3,000 burning flame. He is clearly trying to seize this chance to refine it. If I forcibly bring him out, it might cause him great harm. Some harm is better than letting him die in there." Xian Yi was still furious. Xiao Yan was Yao Qin's disciple, and if Yao Qin found out that Xiao Yan had died in the Pill Tower star region, he would certainly sever all ties with the Pill Tower and might even come in rage to seek retribution. Tian Lazy tried to soothe, "Don't be too anxious." Although Xiao Yan was at a critical moment in his soul battle, he could still sense what was happening around him. Since he didn't choose to retreat, he must have his reasons. He's not the type to act recklessly. Huang Zong smiled bitterly and said, "Rest assured, that kid has several heavenly flames with him. Even if the 3,000 burning flame erupts with full force, he won't be in immediate danger. Once the star region stabilizes a bit, I'll go back in to ensure his safe return." Xian Yi glanced at the sealed star region and shouted, "Let's hope we don't end up finding only ashes. You know Yao Qin's temper. If he gets angry, he's capable of anything." With a wave of his sleeve, he turned and stormed off towards the Pill Tower. Huang Zong and another companion shook their heads helplessly and followed. "Did you say the 3,000 burning flame erupted, and Xiao Yan is still in there?" In a room within the Pill Tower, little fairy doctor's face changed drastically upon hearing this. She slapped the nearby table, shattering it into pieces, and stood up abruptly, her usually gentle and beautiful face now filled with icy killing intent. The heavenly flame Dozun beside her also looked slightly alarmed. Seeing little fairy doctor's agitation, Qiong explained with a wry smile, "It's not that we don't want to rescue Xiao Yan. It's just that he was in a soul battle with the essence flame of the 3,000 burning flame. Forcibly bringing him out would have caused him great harm. Moreover, his heavenly demon puppet was guarding him, allowing no interference. With the Pill Tower's vast power, that heavenly demon puppet shouldn't be able to stop them," little fairy doctor said angrily. Although she didn't know the exact situation inside the star region, she could sense the tense atmosphere of the Pill Tower, indicating danger. Xiao Yan, alone in there, must be facing grave peril. Faced with little fairy doctor's pressing questions, Qiong sighed and said, "The leaders have said that if the situation inside the star region calms down in a few days, they will enter again and forcibly bring Xiao Yan out. But what if by then we can't even find him?" Little fairy doctor's brows furrowed deeply. Thinking about how even Huang Zong dared not easily enter the star region now, she felt Xiao Yan's chances seemed bleak. As she fumed, Ziyan quietly tugged at her sleeve and whispered, "Don't worry, Xiao Yan is still alive. I can feel it." Hearing this, little fairy doctor was slightly stunned and looked at Ziyan with some doubt. After a moment, her tense expression relaxed a bit. Ziyin, though mischievous, knew when to be serious, and she had a good relationship with Xiao Yan. If something really happened to Xiao Yan, Ziyin wouldn't be so calm. 3 days later, if they don't open the star region, we'll go in ourselves. Little fairy doctor's voice was firm, her jade sleeve waving resolutely. In that case, I'll take my leave now. Qiao Ling smiled wryly, nodded in agreement, and retreated, leaving the room slowly. How can you sense him? After all, he's far away in the star region. Little fairy doctor asked urgently as soon as Qiao Ling left, turning to Ziyin. It's because of the dragon mark I planted in him. If something happened to him, the mark would disappear, Ziyin explained, showing her small palm. A golden symbol shimmered softly in her palm. Now the mark not only remains but glows with a golden light, indicating he's stable and not in life-threatening danger, Ziyin explained seriously. Seeing this, the heavy pressure in little fairy doctor's heart finally eased a bit. Even so, she said, we can't leave Xiao Yan alone in such a place. If he hasn't returned in 3 days, we must urge the 3 Pill Tower leaders to open the star region again. While the outside world was in chaos due to the violent eruption of the 3,000 burning flame, the star region remained eerily calm. The purple-black flames entwined around every corner, rising and burning incessantly, transforming the entire star region into a colossal furnace. This time, the eruption of the 3,000 burning flame had truly turned the star region into a land of death. Amid the boundless sea of purple-black fire, a faint green light flickered. On closer inspection, it was a protective shield formed by green flames. Within this shield sat a figure in meditation, eyes tightly closed. Beside him stood a golden, heavenly demon puppet, standing tall and expressionless. In a void filled with purple-black flames, Xiao Yan's body appeared somewhat ethereal. He sat cross-legged on a lotus seat formed by green flames. Despite the fierce bombardment of the purple-black fire dragon outside, his expression remained unchanged. The impenetrable fire shield defense made the 3,000 burning flame increasingly agitated. Moreover, the scorching high temperature seemed to have no effect on Xiao Yan. As time passed, the 3,000 burning flame felt its power subtly diminishing. What shocked it even more was that the strength of Xiao Yan, trapped inside the fire shield, was growing, albeit very slowly. In the void, Xiao Yan couldn't perceive the passage of time. The only thing he could do was to focus his mind, sensing the soul full of vitality in the space surrounded by purple-black flames. This monotonous vigil finally ended quietly one day. In the soul space, Xiao Yan, who had his eyes closed, slowly opened them again. Now it's my turn. Xiao Yan clenched his fist, feeling the immense power coursing through him, and a wave of exhilaration surged in his heart. This beast had been too arrogant recently, constantly mocking and forcing him to fight. But now, the situation was about to be completely reversed. Standing in the center of the sea of fire, Xiao Yan smiled lightly and raised his palm. The dragon mark in his palm burst out with dazzling golden light. The surrounding purple-black sea of fire seemed to be strongly attracted by the golden light, continuously flowing towards the dragon mark and being devoured by it. As the sea of fire dissipated, only the 3,000 burning flame and Xiao Yan remained facing each other in the soul space. However, the 3,000 burning flame now showed obvious signs of fear, its massive body retreating continuously. Seeing the 3,000 burning flame revealing fear and starting to retreat, Xiao Yan smiled faintly. The golden light in his palm shone brightly. With a few howls, he caught up with the retreating opponent. As the dragon mark drew closer, the massive form of the 3,000 burning flame shrank rapidly, eventually transforming into a purple-black flame and being absorbed by the golden light in the dragon mark. Break! Xiao Yan looked around the soul space and calmly uttered the word. As soon as his voice fell, the surrounding space started to ripple violently. In the instant of the soul space's collapse, Xiao Yan, shrouded in purple-black flames within the star region, slowly opened his eyes, turning his gaze towards the small purple-black fire dragon opposite him. At this moment, the small fire dragon had lost its former brilliance and appeared somewhat bewildered. Xiao Yan stood up, took steps towards the dragon, and gently placed his palm on its forehead. A powerful suction emerged, causing the small fire dragon to slowly transform into a deep and mysterious purple-black flame, rising gradually. Gazing at the purple-black flame, Xiao Yan sighed softly. This is the 3,000 burning flame, the heavenly flame he has longed for in his dreams. He traveled far and endured hardships to make this wish come true. Don't worry, follow me. Your reputation on the list of heavenly flames will not be disgraced, Xiao Yan murmured to himself, then opened his mouth and swallowed the purple-black flame. After successfully obtaining the 3,000 burning flame, Xiao Yan's next task was to completely refine it and integrate it with the crystal lotus heart fire to promote his own evolution once again. Xiao Yan understood that the process of refining the 3,000 burning flame would not be brief, but he hadn't expected this session of closed-door cultivation to last for half a year. During this half-year period, the interior of the star region remained as silent as death, while the outside world was in constant turmoil. On the third day after the star region closed, Little Fairy Doctor insisted that the 3 giants of Pill Tower open the star region for rescue operations. Persuaded by her insistence and with Xian Yi's mediation, the 3 giants of Pill Tower finally reopened the star region on the third day. However, as soon as the spatial gate opened, the raging sea of fire surged out like a wild beast unleashed. If the 3 giants of Pill Tower hadn't been prepared early, it would have surely resulted in a major disaster. Faced with this situation, Little Fairy Doctor was extremely anxious, but she no longer requested the 3 giants of Pill Tower to open the star region again. Thanks to the sensing ability of Ziyin, otherwise she might not have been able to endure the torment of this long wait. About a month later, the 3 giants of Pill Tower voluntarily opened the star region again. This time, it was Xin Kongzi who entered alone, but he hurriedly retreated in less than 5 minutes. The closing of the star region had intensified the internal temperature, making it scorching hot, and even someone as capable as Xin Kongzi could only penetrate about a kilometer deep. However, just when everyone was preparing for the worst, Little Fairy Doctor and the others were still clinging to their last hope, the dragon mark in Ziyan's palm. Now, the only thing they could rely on was the existence of this dragon mark. If one day the dragon mark suddenly disappeared, Little Fairy Doctor might truly collapse completely. As time passed, more and more people began to lose confidence in Xiao Yan's survival. Even Xin Kongzi and others sighed inwardly. Who would have thought that the former champion of the Pill Tower would come to such an end? However, just as everyone was lamenting Xiao Yan's fate, faint ripples suddenly emanated from what seemed like a dead zone within the star region. Inside the star region, the purple-black flames spread unchecked, and the temperature grew increasingly scorching as the flames surged. At the heart of this area filled with purple-black flames, there existed a void where no flames flowed. Any flames that swept in would automatically divert around it. Within this void, a slender figure sat cross-legged, surrounded by deep purplish-brown flames that vaguely rose. These flames swirled around his body, each roll causing intense fluctuations in the boundless purple-black sea of fire around him. Yet the young man remained oblivious to the changes in the surrounding sea of fire since he closed his eyes nearly 8 months ago, his body unmoving. With his state resembling quietude, the entire star region seemed to synchronize with his breathing. Each heavier breath stirred waves of fire in the sea. When breathing steadied, the waves quietly subsided. The star region fell into silence once again, and in the rhythm of each breath, time quietly passed. Until one day, a sudden disturbance arose from the calm sea of fire, originating from the void area at its center. At that moment, from the tranquil sea of fire on Xiao Yan's body, purplish-brown flames surged forth, eventually faintly forming a purplish-brown fire dragon tens of yards long. Upon closer inspection, this fire dragon was none other than the true form of the 3,000 burning flame. The purplish-brown flames spread through the void, and then the colossal dragon lifted its head, opening its huge mouth. A thunderous roar echoed through the star region, shattering the silence. The previously calm purple-black flames suddenly surged violently, continuously pouring towards the gaping maw of the fire dragon suspended in the void. After consuming a substantial amount of the purple-black flames, The dragon finally seemed satisfied. Its massive body gradually shrank until it transformed into a wisp of purplish-brown flame that drilled into Xiao Yan's brain. In the moment the dragon merged into Xiao Yan's body, his long closed eyes trembled and slowly opened. A hot breath escaped slowly from Xiao Yan's throat. "Have I finally succeeded?" Xiao Yan muttered, lowering his head. With a clench of his hand, a clump of purplish-brown flame burst forth. This was his newly fused flame, synthesized from the 3,000 burning flame, green lotus core flame, and fallen heart flame. Xiao Yan wasn't sure how powerful the top-ranked flames on the flame ranking were, but he speculated that this newly born flame should easily rank within the top 6. Combining 3 heavenly flames meant this power was undoubtedly immense.